Okay, I think we're about ready to get started. For this afternoon's class, we are going to learn how to upload our current time balances into each employee's bank. Now, before we do this, keep in mind that you'll want to do this as close to your go-live date as possible. Once you upload those balances, we want to make sure that your employees know how to request time off through the application, because that's the only way that the balances will remain accurate.
Right.
So let's log into our web application. And from the supervisor menu, we are going to select Manage Time Banks. At the top of the screen, select the employee that you would like to work with. In the window below, you're going to see each time bank that you currently have in your system, and this will be based on the amount or the day off codes that you created. Up top, you're going to have a set of buttons. By default, it will be set to add, subtract from banks. By entering the amount of time, whether it's in hourly, units, or daily units, key in those amounts, and at the bottom of the screen, select the effective date for the time you're uploading. If these balances were good as of May 1st, go ahead and pull the date back. And under the comments section, a brief description of what you're uploading will be stored in a log file that you can refer to at a later time. Once you're ready to upload those balances, click on the Save button, and then move on to the next employee on the list and repeat the process. You'll notice that the effective date and comments are saved so you can reuse those. Now, this should be the last time that you have to manually upload time into the banks. Once you go live, the system should automatically upload the time into the banks based on rules that you're going to create. And those rules are typically based on years of service, right? So maybe from year 1 through 5, we're going to receive 2 weeks of vacation. From 6 through 10, that bumps up to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's it for uploading time. Now, there are a couple of other options available up top, and we're going to take a look at those. Let's switch over to update entries. Now, based on the person that you have selected on the left, you can see the actual entries that you had already uploaded. And so if you look at the bottom of this list, these are the balances I just uploaded into Guy's Vacation, Sick, Personal, and Comp Bank. I have the reason for that upload along with the effective date, and that effective date is also displayed over to the right. This function is handy in the event that you enter the wrong amounts. You can correct them, just like I'm doing here by backspacing over the value and re-entering the correct one. If for some reason the effective date was wrong, you can use the calendar to specify the correct date.
Is there an electronic log of these adjustments?
What I would suggest doing is adding additional details into the notes, because we do hold this. So we can go in and run time balance reports, reports on this activity, which tells us who went in and modified the entries. But just to make the most of it, I would consider adding an additional additional text into the log file. Now, with that said, there should only be 2 or 3 people who should be able to do this within any department. They should be system administrators or people involved in payroll or benefits. But yes, it is stored in the log file.
Okay.
And in fact, if you see where it says SEC ADM, this is the user that uploaded the time.
Right.
Up top, we're going to switch over to adjust balance. Here, we're just looking at total balances for each bank. We are not looking at the individual entries that made up that balance. This option just allows us to correct an employee's time bank in the event that the balances that were uploaded were incorrect, and it may just be easier to replace whatever is there with a new entry. If the actual amount was 400, I enter the actual amount, I enter the effective date, and under the comment section, I may want to write something like balance adjustment and any other details that might be relevant. Let's click on the Save button. Now you'll see the current balance is at 400, and it left all of the others where they were.
Okay.
So from this screen, we're going to upload our time balances. We can correct individual entries if they were made in error. We could even adjust entries that were made through your system rules. And then finally, under adjust balances, we can just replace what's there with a new value. Whichever you use at any given time, you want to make sure that the comment section is clear enough so that, as you mentioned, if there's a log file that's being referenced, we know exactly why someone went in and did something. It's also important because the employee can see this information. Let's take a look at the report section. Under the only report that all users within your organization will have access to, and that is our employee statistical report. I'm going to choose one of the employees that I uploaded time into, Guy, and let's scroll down over to the administrative days log. This log file is keeping track of everything that we just did. So not only can this employee see their time balances, they can also see each individual entry that made up that time balance.
That keeps everybody honest. That's Good.
It keeps everyone honest and well informed. Now, another something else that will be reflected in your administrative days log is any comp time that the employee earned because maybe they worked a few hours of overtime at the end of their shift. Once they make that entry and the supervisor approves it, that time goes directly into their balance. But it also shows them that the time went in. So if there's ever any question about, hey, I worked overtime on this day, did I get my hours? Now, in the old days, when somebody worked overtime and took that in comp time, we may have had to go into a spreadsheet and add the hours and then, report that back to the employee. Right. That's no longer necessary, of course, because the administrative days log is keeping track of everything for us.
Okay.
That's it for uploading time balances. Now, as you move through the next batch of classes, which are our advanced setup classes, you'll have the opportunity to set allotted time by step. It is during this class where we would teach you how to build the rules based on years of service.
Okay.
Okay. Of course, you can, at this point, start looking at some of the advanced classes. If you do not have part-time employees or per diem employees, of course, you can skip Advanced 1 and move on to Advanced 2. In this class, you're going to learn how to create job assignments, which could be patrol areas or posts, but it could also be used to reflect pay upgrades. So if you have individuals who, in working in a particular job status, they get an upgrade in pay, you'll want to learn how to create those different categories in this class.
Okay.
And the rest deal with setting up minimum staffing requirements, setting up the rules for time off accrual, and holiday pay, and among other things that you may not necessarily use, but I would start signing up for those, and remember that you also have training help outs available within this category.
Terrific.
Okay. Are there any questions on uploading time into the banks?
No, that's pretty straightforward.
Okay. If there's no further questions, then that's it for this class, as promised. Short and sweet.
Fantastic. Good for a Friday afternoon.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, have a great weekend.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.